So, what we were discussing that when we talk about the high growth venture, your motivation should be very high. Plus, what else you need is you must have done high level of research in it. Your team must be very, very strong in order to carry on with the high growth. Because when we talk about high growth, then we are actually talking on the other hand about the high level of profit also. So in this way, we like make more growth. We are more okay. Now, lifestyle ventures, a small company that provides its owner independence, autonomy, and control. Yes, this is correct. That if you start a small shop with lifestyle, like you maybe the decoration pieces which you want to sell, maybe you want to start a small dresses shop for the ladies or a tailoring shop for the male. So under all these things, yes, you have more independence, autonomy, like you have complete control and you want to, is often run of household. For example, these sort of lifestyle ventures can run from your household. Like maybe a family starts a small business, a ladies' tailoring shop. It is very, very common that one daughter has done her degree in fashion designing, and now what she does that okay, मदर वॉज ऑलरेडी बीन इन द बिजनेस, वो कहती है क्या कि अम्मी जी चलें आपकी जो ये पुरानी सी ये दर्जी वाली दुकान है इसको ज़रा एक नया शेप देते हैं, लेट्स मेक इट अ मोर presentable and bit high side thing. Then there are obviously more flexibility as far as working hours are concerned, as far as meeting places are concerned. If I start some business from my house, then I have like flexibility in working. It's not necessary that I start 8 in the morning and I work only up to 4 or 5 in the evening. Sometimes it depends upon my availability. Then meeting place is also more flexible. It is not necessary that I always ask people to meet me in a specific office. Sometimes I visit them, sometimes they come up. Similarly, when we talk about the attire or the uniform, there aren't any such difficulty. Then, under lifestyle ventures, we also see the personal interest and hobbies with your desire to make a profit. Like I'm good at a certain things. I know of like AJ Sports. They started it because the person, Mr. Anwar Jafri, the owner of the organization, he himself had been a very good cricketer. Then he went to Sharjah. He had been playing there, but what decided with his good repo and interest, and also with good relationship with the sportsmen, especially cricketers, he started a small shop only for cricket. Today he is into a number of other sports items also. So there are many people who do like this. When we talk about a smaller profit venture, some small companies not concentrated on pushing the envelope and growing inordinately large. That means they are not really into making millions in profit. What they are interested in just having a confined type of business in which they make okay a good decent amount at the end of the month, and they are making a decent living with that. For example, they talk about in America it is common mom and pop store. They used to be mom and pop stores, which were not very big stores, but they were like making good, decent living. Similarly, there are Pakistani stores as well, which we have seen that what they do, they make small businesses. It is not asking for high level of capital, but still giving a good return, and you at the end of the day uh, make or save sufficient amount to give you a decent living. When we talk about high growth ventures, goal is maximum profit and growth, concentrated on pushing envelope and growing as large as possible. Focus on innovation. These sort of organizations or these sort of companies, they actually concentrate on the maximum profit. They want to make more and more profit. So they do innovation, they do research and come up with new things. They want to have an edge on others and want to take the maximum market share. And as a result, they get a good growth as well. Yes, we also talk about start or buy. Start cheapest but very difficult, requires most planning, research, etc. For example, maybe you start a firm of your own. Maybe you will start as a one person, no other person. And what you do, you buy products from a wholesale market and sell them in your vicinity to people who are known to you in a very small method, or in a very restricted or constrained way. You do not want to have big shops, or but for this you need to do a lot of research, you need to plan. On the other hand, when we talk about the franchise, or we talk about the buying business, of course somebody else is running a business, you want to buy it, you will have to pay a huge amount. Maybe there are already some 50 people working for him or for that organization. Maybe you don't have to make huge plans, you may not have to go for deep site research, but still purchasing a business means you are asking for more money. So then, in some cases, we talk about a business run by an individual, the franchise. So you may become a franchisee. How come? You take the right to market a certain good or product from that owner. I just talked about like Pizza Hut or Imtiaz Superstore. So somebody must have taken the franchise here in Maleet Kant for that, right? Planning and research is essential. Yes, what is a market? How we do market survey through family, through friends, through neighbors, by using different magazines, by using market information through like different periodicals, through YouTube's in today's new market era, or using some other digital methods, making phone calls, making research questionnaires and sending them to different people in their mailbox. These things are very important in order to find out the market for your specific product, that where you can purchase the products to sell it in the market. Then we talk about the cost. Plan realistically, not optimistically. This is what they say, that in order to find out the cost of the product, you have to be very realistic. You must divide your cost in all the what do you call it, the fixed cost as well as the variable cost. So your total cost estimation must be very, very clear and very, very what do you call it, confined, and very like crystal clear, very well done. You know, unless you do a well uh, you do a very well defined cost analysis, you cannot run a business easily. On the other hand, when we talk about the profit, when we are planning, profit should be realistic rather than overestimated. Similarly, cost should be realistic rather than underestimated. Then, when we talk about finance, then we should look from the different point of view, the sources of funds. Where will I get the funds from? Maybe from bank, maybe venture capitalists, filthy rich, high risk investor looking for many times year over yield. But these things are like very important while we are talking about the finance and sources of funds or finance. Angels seem to have altruistic motives, less stringent demands than venture capitalists, because venture capitalists will definitely ask for a high share from your business, so your profit will be squeezed and you give him or her a high level of share. Then we talk about going domestic or global. Drawbacks to global: more research, less accessible connections in a startup phase, more travel time required, more consideration. If you want to go global, you have to travel extensively. You have to start making connection in the international market. You have to see that how your competitor is working, so you do lot of research. So it is always difficult to get into the global market, but there are certain advantages as well. For example, when we talk about human resources, in your country you have a specific restricted time of human resource, whereas when you go internationally, maybe you find better human resource, maybe you find a more economical labor, maybe you have to pay less wages. So then maybe there are more chances of getting finance through the banks for export purposes. So there are number of advantages as well. But going global means you have to work very hard day and night, and you have to prepare yourself very well that why you want to go global and who are the competitors and how you will work with your competitors in the market. Then we talk about the growth pressures. Entrepreneurs often find that as their business grows, they feel more pressure to use formal methods to lead their organization. Although this formalization process may compromise some entrepreneurs' spirit, it often leads to more focus, organization, and greater financial returns. This is another very important thing, that when you want to like expand your business, when you want to grow, you will have to use the method used by others. So these are some formal methods, some formal ways which you need in order to see that how X company from small to become a big organization. Then, in this formalization process, you may have to compromise some of your desires. You might have to compromise some of your thinking. Maybe sometimes you have to even compromise on your uh, basic ideas. Basically, it's a movement from a seat of the pants operation to a more structured, legitimate, and recognizable business. Entrepreneurial and formal organization differ in six business dimensions: strategic orientation, commitment to opportunity, commitment to resources, control of resources, management structure, compensation policies. I'll discuss them in the next slide. You see that how business dimensions change for different organizations. Business dimension for an entrepreneur organization, when we talk about strategic orientation, an entrepreneur seeks opportunity, whereas formal organization control resources. What it means? It means that since entrepreneur is new to the business, he will have to make such strategies that will create opportunity for him. Whereas a formal organization which is already set in the market will only control the resources it has. Then we talk about the commitment to opportunity. In entrepreneurial business or case, the revolutionary short run or short duration decisions are to be made. Whereas formal organization is concerned, they only do evolutionary long duration. They do things for the long run. Commitment, excuse, commitment to resources. You know, entrepreneurs actually have lack of stable needs and resource bases because they are new in the business. They have to develop these things. Whereas the formal organization already has systematic planning available for running this system. Then we talk about control of resources. Any entrepreneurial organization lack of commitment to permanent ventures because they are just new in the market. They need to learn, they need to find out, they need to try and get permanent ventures, permanent client. Whereas formal organizations are powerful, they have strong base available. So what they do, they just like give rewards to people who are uh, maintaining their in order to maintain their clients. Sometimes they give special discounts to the big stores for selling their products in order to maintain their status quo. A new person needs a lot of work in order to become part of the new market. Whereas management structure is concerned under entrepreneurship, it is flat, many informal networks. So the work and time they take in order to formalize things for them. Whereas in a formal organization, these things, their structure is very clearly defined. The authority and responsibilities are defined. They need not worry for things. When we talk about the compensation policies, entrepreneur obviously being new to the market, he or she needs to design compensation policy. Sometimes they do unlimited. Whereas the formal organization is concerned, their policies are quite clear and are limited by the investors. Entrepreneurship growth pressure, going global from domestic to worldwide expansion, globalization can be extremely rewarding for entrepreneurs. Think money and business exposure. However, it is a huge undertaking. Adapting your business to operate in the global market can lead to a decrease in ownership and a forced focus on raising money to keep your business alive. This is very important. Sometimes, in order to go for globalization, you have to do some pacts, you have to write some agreements, you have to sign some contracts with the international uh, managers or the international firms who dictate their terms to you in order to purchase from you your product. So, in some cases, selling out private to public, initial public offering. Sometimes what happens that a private business doing very well, now they think that they should go and make a public limited company, so they have to like work extra in order to change and do a lot of legal work in order to change the what you say the entity of the company from private limited to public limited to make it a stock. Now we talk about the managing family business. Most of the entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs run their own family business. So, and that is why we say that why not dream up a plan and go into business with your family of friends? Let's see what happens. You know, Managing a family business is never easy. There are many reasons. For example, families fight, friends fight. What happens that if a person tries to run a business and he is or she is not ready to take this dictation from the other family members, then there are differences which come up, and as a result of those differences the business suffers. Whether these are families or friends, they start potentially a good business, but then argument, disagreements, and the feuds like fights within the family members or within the friends, it gives a problem. So one has to be very careful about it. Managing, there are 6 steps which can help you to a successful family business. Number one, clear job responsibility. This is very, very important that while we are running our family business, we do not have clear responsibility. Nobody knows who is doing what. Second thing is the hiring criteria should be very clear. Who should be hired in order to run that business? Then clear plan for management transition. Management positions should be clear that Mr. X being the CEO of the company, he has the rights up to this. Even when we talk about the financial things, then these should be addressed very clearly. Agreement on whether and when to sell business. Commitment to resolving conflicts quickly. Outside advisors are used to mediate conflicts. Clarity is key, but no guarantee. That these are a few points which we keep in mind, and we say that with this, we may be able to manage our business, family business, more clearly and easily, but there is no guarantee to it unless everyone is clear about the operations and the other management skill. For example, now we talk about the operational versus survival issues. Operational decision about the economics of business and how to balance that with rational and family obligation criteria. Think day to day grind. For example, we have seen these things in families that severed relationships, divorce, poor business performance, no moral motivation, or very low moral motivation. Because that when people start thinking that X is not giving me sufficient as far as my share of work is concerned, so the motivation turns low. Similarly, if they're a husband and wife and they're running a business and due to financial problems, they turn out to be very heavy and may result in a loss. How business will run, how much money is required, who is going to finance the business, how much is the profit or profit sharing, how profit sharing will be done. All these operational decisions are. Then we talk about the survival issues, develop out of a lack of attention on the operational issues within the business. It is always a big problem that how to survive my business. If the operational or the decisions on the business are not strong, if the decisions are not very clear, and as a result, the financial issues come up, as a result, the management issues come up, then the survival is a big problem. Then you may not be able to survive. Think festering problems ultimately compromise livelihood. Corporate entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, someone in an existing organization who turns new ideas into profitable realities. These people are always been given uh, the chances of having like a whole, maybe a section under his control or a division under his control. But it is not necessary that not every employee has the ability to become a successful entrepreneur, because many people work on routine basis. They do not believe in changing the strategies being used or making new changes in the old style, or they are sometimes even not able to make a good teamwork, or maybe they lack communication abilities and skills. So in order to be entrepreneur, one has to have very good communication skill, must know how to so he or she has that leadership quality, that how to make or develop new strategies which will be better and change the company's overall profit and cost margins. That redirect themselves through innovation have the following characteristics. Commitment from senior management, number one. Flexible organization design, autonomy of the venture team, competent, talented people with entrepreneur attitude, incentives and reward for risk taking, appropriately designed control system. In any corporate area, the entrepreneur are been given the responsibility and they are been given the what you call it the authority, but there are certain commitments from the senior management which they have to do. They may be flexible organization design, because if the design is rigid or very strict, the person cannot make changes easily. Then autonomy of the venture team. Venture team should have the autonomy and control over its work, operations, and definitely very competent and talented people are required with the skill of leading and entrepreneurship. Then there must be incentives and rewards given to the people who take risk. Appropriately designed control system, because if the system is not well controlled and appropriately designed, then there will be a problem of dealing with things. In order to understand corporate entrepreneur, there is a term known as skunk works. Skunk works actually refer to those entrepreneurs who are active in the organization, and the top management has complete control on